Can authorities disclose the identity of these gunmen who are shattering the calm in parts of the trouble-torn state? Well, one is asking these questions because highly placed official sources have confirmed to Northeast Live that most of the over 2,000 rebels under suspension of operations have returned to the dozen-odd designated camps spread in the hill districts of Manipur. Last night, intermittent firing and arson was reported from Tera Khongsangbi area in Bishnupur district that caused fresh tension in the state. One of the injured persons, who was shifted to a private hospital in Imphal, has since succumbed to his injuries. After the news of the death trickled in, hundreds of protesters took to the streets in Tidim Road in Imphal, blocking the movement of vehicles belonging to the security forces. The protests were held along the Tidim Road in 𝗧𝗏𝗡, where the BSF had to resort to blind firing to disperse the crowd. Well, the situation prompted the authorities to reclaim curfew hastily in Bishnupur. Well, this was not only the firing incident this week. Earlier on May 21st, as many as 3 persons were injured in Imphal West during a shootout. This was followed next day by the threatening of women vendors at the New Chekon area by armed gunmen allegedly led by an ex-MLA, after which 3 persons, including the former MLA, were arrested. Well, it may be mentioned here that the Manipur government has not made any fresh demand for revoking of the suspension of operations agreement with the Kuki rebels, but Meitei civil society groups are making a forceful demand for revocation of the SOO agreement with Kuki rebel groups, alleging that they are still on the loose and are engaged in carrying out sporadic attacks. Well, according to official sources, there are 17 SOO groups under the banner of the Kuki National Organization and 8 under United People's Front. As per official sources, the cadres numbering over 2,000 are housed in about a dozen designated camps. Sources added that after the violence that started on May 3rd, the Union government has directed the Army and the Assam Rifles, besides state authorities, to regularly monitor the presence of the cadres in the designated camps, and also gave strict instructions to act tough if the rebels are found missing from the camps. Official sources, however, admitted that some of the SOO cadres are still outside the designated camps and that a hunt is to locate them. Alright, so on your screens are the visuals from Tidim Road, where the protests broke out today, and there you can see the security force, they are on job, and the protests also broke out at Tidim Road. And on your screens are the visuals coming in from Tidim Road in Manipur. So last night, intermittent firing and arson was reported from Tera Khongsangbi area in Bishnupur district that caused fresh tension in the state. And also, let me tell our viewers here that one of the injured persons, who was shifted to a private hospital in Imphal, has since succumbed to his injuries. Well, after the news of the death trickled in, hundreds of protesters took to the streets in Tidim Road in Imphal, and on your screens are the visuals coming in from Tidim Road. Well, hundreds of protesters, they protested at the Tidim Road, and there you can see the security forces are on the streets of Tidim Road, and movement of vehicle belonging to the security forces. Well, the protests were held along the Tidim Road in 𝗧𝗏𝗡, where the BSF had to resort to blind firing to disperse the crowd.